Hi everyone, it's Les here. I'm just doing a quick video update to the excellent YouTube tutorials by Glenn and Joe on the rolling roof Arduino project that they collaborated on. I was very interested in that approach, and I'd actually already bought myself a rack and pinion gate opener which I fitted to my observatory roof, and was just using the remote control buttons to open and close it. So when I saw the Arduino project appear after many searches, and then after that noticed Glenn and Joe's collaboration, I was really interested in how to make it work. So I got the various bits and pieces as highlighted in Glenn and Joe's YouTube in their in the comments, and the only thing that was different was the relay shield that they've used is different to the one that I actually got. I actually got the original Arduino one rather than one of the many others that are available, and you can see that here. Now what that meant, after a bit of troubleshooting with the original code, or the version 2 of the code that I think Joe had updated, was because the relay pin definitions were written or defined for the version of the Relay Shield that they were using, it meant that the original Arduino ones, which I've highlighted here, had to be changed. So after a little bit of digging around, I found out what the various pin definitions should be. So I've actually commented that here. I've updated the code, commented it here. It's actually very easy to do in the Arduino IDE anyway, but you can see here. So what was defining sensor as pin 7, or the new pin numbers are here. So stop for 4, sensor 7, close 8 and open 12. They were in Joe and Glenn's code 5, 6 and 7 there. So you just need to, if you're using this particular Relay Shield board, then you'll need to make this adaptation to the code. So that's the code side of it. Now the other difference was they both Joe and Glenn, as far as I know, are using Nina, and I don't use Nina, I use SGP. So once you've got the Arduino board all set up and downloaded the ASCOM driver, which is this little rrci.exe file, that you also need, as per Glenn and Joe's tutorial, to download Skyroof. There are 2 different versions of this on the Skyroof website. I think this is the later version here, which has, or maybe an earlier version, which actually has, under park check settings here, it's actually got this use ASCOM to detect parked scope. So if you've got this particular version, just click that. You'll notice when you first start it up, you'll need to go through and actually choose the particular roof, which will appear as an RRCI roof, and then run the connect and so on. So if you look at the little webcam that I've got open up, I can click on the open. This is before we do anything with SGP. Okay, and Skyroof has sensed it's open, and now we can click it again. The reason I'm just clicking the open button again is for this particular roof controller. It's a single button control which you actually set up. Here I've got the opener type, which is 1 button. Okay, just make sure also, I think Glenn and Joe have mentioned this in their tutorial, to select the relevant port that it's the Arduino is connected to. You can easily do that in the device, looking under the LPT COM port settings. Okay, so we've got that all up and running now, and the only other difference with my setup compared to Glenn and Joe's is they use Nina and I use Sequence Generator Pro. I've got probably a bit of an older version now. I haven't got round to paying the annual updates, but what I've done is got a little sequence ready. But before we go through that sequence, if you're using SGP over Nina, and I don't use Nina, so I'm not sure of the particular settings, but in SGP you can open Control Panel, which you've got all the tabs across the top for setting up your camera and everything else, and you have to click on Other, which then gives you the observatory settings. And in my particular version, and for some reason it's greyed out here, probably because I haven't clicked to get everything up and running, but in my particular version I've gone through, clicked on slave settings, selected roll off roof and ticked all of the slaving options, and then I would normally tick slave to telescope. So let me just get everything connected. Hopefully it will go through this time. Okay, so we've got the camera just to do the dummy test, got the mount connected, and you can see here RRCI is selected. If I just click on the spanner there, it's the same ASCOM driver that we looked at earlier. Okay, so we'll just click OK on that. And I'm just going to go back to the control panel and just tick that. I did actually save this as a profile, so it should be ticked, but just to make sure, just double check and tick slave to telescope so that it will pick up these settings. Okay, so if we now run a sequence, and we can double check, and hopefully everything will go according to plan. I've actually run this successfully over a couple of nights already, sort of tempting fate by just leaving it. I knew it wasn't going to rain or anything, and I knew that it would only close if the mount was parked, and I have actually had a couple of good imaging runs for the past couple of nights, so hopefully it'll work out okay now. So let me click on Run Sequence. It says it requires a telescope. Of course the telescope is parked, so we'll click yes. The mount is still parked, it's now opening. It's a bit noisy because it's trying to get a bit of roof up there on some rollers. It should now unpark, which it has done, and the mount is now slewing. Apologies for the backlighting there from our nearest star, but yeah, you have to work with what you've got, of course. So this is just obviously a dummy run, so I haven't taken the caps off or anything. So it's going to go through. It's downloading the image, saying sequence complete. I'm just going to let it sort of time out gracefully there rather than clicking OK, because this is what would happen when I'm tucked up nicely in bed. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. The other thing to bear in mind is I've found, I'm going to click disconnect, not disconnect equipment, so leave that open, because although it says run complete, it's now parked and the roof is now closing, which is what it should do. What I found is, by the way, there we go. It's a successful test. What I found though is if you leave disconnect all equipment at the sequence end, as soon as it says run complete, everything gets switched off, including the roof controller. It does park, but it just won't close the roof. So not quite sure why that is, but I've worked out that if you uncheck disconnect all equipment at sequence end, which is absolutely fine, and also under telescope you will need to check park when sequence completes as well. So hopefully those are all the settings you need. The key one is, at least in my experience, to obviously choose RRCI as the driver, slave to telescope, all slave settings, and despite what the SGP user guide actually says about whether these sort of work in whatever way, I've just found by experimentation that having them all checked seems to work, as you can see. So there we go. Sort of tweaking the settings a little bit on the Arduino board, playing around with SGP, and getting it to a point where everything works. And as I say, I've had a couple of successful imaging runs over the past couple of nights. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. If you choose to do the Arduino setup in this way, hopefully you'll be as successful as I've managed to be, and very much thankful to Glenn and indirectly to Joe for getting the original little videos out there that helped me so much. Okay, cheers everyone.